China has been abusing regular Americans for decades, and they're doing it with the complete and very willing complicity of some of the most powerful people in America. Now, some of them you know well, perhaps too well, people like Joe Biden. Others you might not have ever heard of, people like Larry Fink or John Donahue. But you need to know who they are and what they're doing to you. Now, why is all this especially relevant tonight? Well, because the Pentagon just released a report on China, and frankly, it's terrifying. Here's Axios's reporting on the grand nuclear weapons ambitions of the Chinese Communist Party. China is rapidly accelerating the expansion of its nuclear stockpile and is likely seeking to quadruple its number of nuclear warheads by 2030. The Pentagon's report to Congress further details that China may have up to 700 deliverable warheads by 2027 and 1,000 by 2030, a sharp revision upward from last year when the U.S. estimated China's stockpile would double from the low 200s over the next decade. Okay, so as usual, unfortunately, but predictably, our national security complex, the Pentagon and the CIA especially, they completely miss the mark again on an existential threat to America. Even though we spend trillions of dollars in recent years on the military and on these intel agencies, they seem more focused on wokeness, quite frankly, and on finding white supremacy ghosts instead of realizing just what the CCP is up to and what they are building right now. How is it possible, by the way, that we were caught completely off guard when China successfully tested an around-the-globe hypersonic missile, one that can carry nukes and probably fly undetected because of its low altitudes all the way to American targets? Perhaps General Milley was too busy ferreting out commanders who hadn't yet watched Ibram X. Kendi's TED Talk to worry about China's PLA, the People's Liberation Army, leapfrogging ahead of America in some really important categories of lethal weaponry. Now, you might think to yourself, sounds like a new Cold War, Cortez. We won the last one, we'll win this one too. And perhaps, and I certainly hope that that's right. But here's the thing, and here's the crucial difference. In the 1950s through the 1980s, we never wavered in our stance, our posture regarding our existential enemy at that time, the USSR. The Soviets had no real alliances within the corridors of power in America. Sure, there was an occasional spy, a turncoat who became a traitor for money, but the Soviets never, ever became part of the fabric of the American power structure. That just never happened. Now, in fact, quite the opposite. All of America joined in an effort to isolate and punish the godless communists of the Kremlin. I'm talking about business, labor unions, government, media, all on the same page. With China, the exact opposite situation now prevails. China has successfully co-opted almost all the leading echelons of power in American society. They easily, for example, infiltrated the Biden family, or the Biden cartel, as I prefer to call it, funneling millions of dollars directly from CCP-controlled firms into the bank accounts of the Bidens. And that's not some conspiracy theory, folks. That's a fact, proven by banking wire receipts provided by the Senate Homeland Security Committee. But it's not just the Bidens, as bad as that is. The leaders of American power structures, they're almost all complicit and co-opted by the Chinese Communist Party, by the same criminal junta that will soon point 1,000 nuclear missiles at our homeland. Now, earlier I mentioned Larry Fink. He's probably the most powerful man in America that you might never have heard of. He runs massive asset manager BlackRock, and he incessantly pours American money, your money, from IRA retirement funds, from charitable endowments. He pours your money into the hands of the CCP. He's the most devoted cheerleader that Beijing could ever ask for. He's so gaga over the CCP, in fact, that he actually earned a rebuke from, of all people, George Soros, who recently correctly, believe it or not, correctly observed in the Wall Street Journal, pouring billions of dollars into China now is a tragic mistake. It's likely to lose money for BlackRock's clients and, more important, will damage the national security interests of the U.S. and other democracies. Similarly, the CEO of Nike, John Donahoe, here is what he said about China on an earnings call. You won't believe this. He said this just this past summer. We are a brand of China and for China. And the biggest asset we have in China is the consumer equity. Now, here is the point, patriots. China abuses America in every way, from knowingly infecting the world with the CCP virus, to predatory trade, to building a massive new missile threat. And powerful Americans, from Biden to CEOs to university presidents, they all aid and abet our enemy. It is time for this nonsense to stop.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.